Welcome back. We turn our attention now to the Ligier JS F4 Series, which of course is effectively the junior, the first step from karting into slicks and wings, as we like to call it, and there they are. These are the older cars. We now have a new car, new Ligier car, which you'll see in action later. But I'm delighted to be joined by Lincoln Day as we take a very close look at who's got what in terms of shod on their car, as we look at Kekai Huanio from Kiwi Motorsport. Lincoln, welcome. What are you noticing? Who's on wets, who's on dries? What would you do?
Right now, I'd be on wets for sure. It's still pretty damp out there from what I've seen and what I've heard from all the drivers, and it seems like it's pretty tricky conditions right now.
I would have actually given this race a miss and would have joined those kids colouring in, is what I would have done. That would have been my decision. So, Lincoln, tell us about yourself, where you're from, and what part you play in this, because obviously you'll be racing in action later today.
Yeah, of course. I'm from out in Wyoming, Jackson Hole.
Oh, yeah.
Lived there for about 5 years now, and joined racing about a year ago with the hope to make it to Le Mans or IndyCar one day. And this weekend, I'm still learning the car, still very new, trying to get as much seat time as possible and set as fast laps but be as consistent as possible.
Well, let me give you a personal invite to the Circuit of the Americas, where we'll be doing WEC in September, and you can come and see all the Le Mans cars.
Oh, well, thank you.
There you go.
Dream.
That would be fun. Well, there you go. Put it in your calendar. It's September 1st, and the whole of the world of world endurance is coming. So, yeah, it's going to be a big weekend. We've had them there before, but they haven't been back for a while. Who do you know in this field?
I'm pretty close friends with Bacon Zelenka and Drew Shuz.
Yep.
Out in Chicago, I used to live there. Met Bacon at a track down there, hit it off immediately, and Drew works down there. Got to know him pretty well at the kart track.
Let me ask you this. We talk about wet weather and how the car is different, and the obvious thing is tires, whether you go on a wet or a slick, and like you say, most of them will be on wets, I think, at the moment. But what do you do to the adjustment in terms of you've gone out into dry qualifying? How do you set up the car differently?
I personally like to make it a little bit softer.
Okay.
I know some drivers like to make it a bit more stiff depending on their driving
style. So it's
styles.
a personal thing, really, rather than...
Yeah, to a point, yeah.
And do you care? Do you like the ret?
I hate it.
Yes, I think it would be tough.
I've only had 2 wet experiences so far. First one was pure hail. Second one was go-kart out in Chicago on slicks.
Now, if I think of Jackson Hole, I think of skiing, and good skiing.
Yeah.
Steep skiing.
Oh, beautiful.
Backward skiing.
Yeah.
Why motorsport? I can't believe that there's that many racing circuits around in Wyoming.
Closest one is Highlands, Colorado.
Yes, I know that circuit.
That's a really fun one. But I had a cousin who raced a few years back in a Porsche Series and a Porsche GT4. I loved going to the races with him, getting to know him better. And he put me in a little summer camp that I really enjoyed. And I was like, I might want to make this my career plan. I love to do something like this. And my dad's always taught me, find something you'd love to do, and do it for free, and make that your life.
That's a great line. Well, we're listening to Lincoln Day. We're about to go racing. Kekai Huanio of the Crosslink Kiwi team getting ready. Alongside him, Teddy Musella, who got the win yesterday. And then Bacon Zelenka, who you just mentioned, from Illinois. He got a podium yesterday, and he lines up in 3rd position. Maite Caceres, the only female in this race, from Uruguay. And then Drew Such, as you mentioned. Hayden Bowlesby in this one, Jake Pollock, Brad Margeman, and the Felber twin brothers in this one as well. Standing start this time. Do you prefer a rolling or a standing start?
I prefer standing. I haven't done one yet, but sim racing, I love standing starts.
Okay.
They're just a lot more competitive, and you have to learn a little bit more.
Yeah, I always think that I expect the answer, because most of you guys come from karting, to be a rolling start, because that's how karting is done.
Yeah, I never did karting. So
well, there you go.
Yeah, that's why.
There you go. Right, we're about to get underway. It's the Ligier JS F4 Series, the junior F4 Series. Out go the lights, away we go. Now watch the 29. That's your pole man. Comes across the circuit, has the advantage. Zelenka tries to make a move on the inside, but a good clean start as they all get through the first corner down towards the Mission Foods keyhole for the first time. But it is Huanio who leads. 25-minute race. And already up the inside comes Teddy Masella. And that's a good move at the keyhole. He played that beautifully. And Marta Caceres up to third. Good start by her. There she is in the number 6. Conditions, I don't know. They don't look too bad, but you don't want to be in that rooster tail, do you?
No. And since the new pave, there's also quite a bit of rubber down now.
Yep.
And
whoa, and the leader goes wide. Does he gather it? That was a moment. He's had to slow down, and he's going to lose pace. He's got the lead still for now. But back comes the 29 of Juanio. What a great start to this one. 4 wide, almost, at turn 4. 2 wide now as they head through 6. In second place is Caceres. Takes second place. What a great start by the one female competitor we've got. She's got some good experience. She's come down from the Formula One Academy, having had some experience there. Started racing in F4 and now has taken this chance to be in this JS F4 Series just to learn a little bit more. She said she's more comfortable in this car, and it's proving to be a good move too, because she's now making her way on what could be one of her best races so far in the series.
Yeah, it's looking like she's really liking that car out there.
Yeah, no kidding. She looks more comfortable than anybody. Zelenka holding on third. Yeah, Bacon is a good guy. Had a good chat with him. He came in the commentary yesterday. Whoa, a big moment there, off onto the grass, and somebody goes even wider. Ooh, they are taking big risks there, but that is just literally outplaying it into turn 1. But luckily, both got away with it. So how do you know Zelenka? Just because you were near him?
Yeah, in Chicago, we go to the same track out there, and I have a car out there, and I let him drive it a few times, and he was immediately faster than me. It's been so much fun to follow his career and help him out where I can.
Keiko Juanio pays the compliment back and gets back into second, or does he? Slides through, and that was a big moment, but he's made it stick. So they are trying everything, and he goes a little wide, leaves the door open there, but the next is a right-hander, so he's being wise too. Caceres then dropping down to third, and the leader, Masella, on his way. Teddy did a great job yesterday and won the race, and so looking for yet another victory here. And Zelenka still holding a strong third at the moment as the leaders start to pull away. And this is important for Caceres that she tries to get on level terms with Teddy. Still 21 minutes in this race, but Teddy Masella will drive off into the distance for Scuderi Buell if he's given the chance. Conditions seem to be at their best here in the front part of the circuit, and then on the back straight where the woods are, it hasn't dried up yet, so they've got the shade of the woods and perhaps just a little bit more wet weather down. We'll see as they come through here. See, it's all dry through turn 1 and turn 2. Here's the keyhole. That's pretty dry too. And then when we get down and exit the keyhole, side by side. Good racing. Brad Margin. Chat with him yesterday, the youngster from Australia. Good kid. Good close racing, and that's what it's all about, learning at close quarters. Now we see that long back straight, and still a little bit wet, but it starts to dry as they get back into turn 4 here. Whoa, around the outside goes the 83. That's Bowlesby, probably the most experienced driver out here. He's been around these single-seaters for a while, also races in FR as well. You can't say he doesn't get enough track time, that's for sure.
It's looking like Zelenka's going to have to defend pretty hard against this guy.
Yeah, any minute he's going to be under pressure, isn't he?
Yeah. In these cars, the slipstream is so massive that it, you get behind someone half a second and you're on them at the end of a straight.
This, of course, the original car without the halo, the new Ligier engine and Ligier chassis car, as we take a look at the entire Crosslink Kiwi team watching on pensively, as they might. There's the gap between Teddy Masella and Maite Caceres. and it's, what, about 1.4 seconds. But now Zelenka has reeled in the Uruguayan, and it's going to be nip and tuck now. It's got an interesting story, does Marta Caceres, and we heard from her yesterday that started out, her father was a rally driver. Really, her parents didn't want her to race. They wanted her to get her education, but she just kept on plugging away at it and wanted to do it. And finally, when she got to 17 and 18, they were like, okay, well, you're growing up. It's up to you now what you want to do. And they supported her. And so she started late, certainly later than most of the field here, but she's put it to good use so far and making her way here in the USA. Has been around the world, though. Has raced in many different locations. Sponsored by the Uruguayan Tourist Board. And the gap between Masella and Caceres has increased. It was 1.4, but I think in this lap, the rest of the field has caught up to Marta, and she's dropped off a little bit. Now the 83 of Hayden Bowlesby, putting some pressure on Zelenka. Where would you make a move if you were in this race and you were Bowlesby right now? Because you've got pressure behind you, so you want to make it clean, because if you don't, the 29 of Juanio, who had, of course, started on the front row, is trying to recover. So you've got to kind of keep one eye on one way and one eye on the other way, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. If it were me, I'd try to make a move into turn 4, heavy braking zones, turn 2, turn 11 possibly. It'd be pretty risky, but I'd probably go for it.
Oh, talking to risky.
Yeah.
Very wide. He's been lucky boy. That's the 28 of Drew Such. You know him?
Yeah, I know him pretty well now.
Now you can see he's got the grass inside the on the wings and just in the in-plates there. I don't think it's going to cause any harm, but it was a bit of a heavy grass track and heavy, wet grass indeed.
Yeah, I'm very impressed he managed to keep in a straight line on the grass there.
Yeah, I mean, in this kind of conditions, with the amount of rain that's been down, you don't see it visually when you're watching the TV, but I can tell you that we've had probably about half an inch, maybe more, of rain in the last hour or so. So very, very well done to get out of there. This is a good race. Here's your top 5. You can see them in just one shot, which is always good in motor racing, and it looks as though the battle for 4th and 5th is really hotting up. Good defensive driving, though, by Bowlesby. It's Juanio who wants past him, and he's probably frustrated. I don't know why he's that far back, because didn't seem to make anything an outrageous mistake or anything. He just got caught up in some fights and then just dropped back. Another interesting story, 11th and 12th, Felber, twin brothers.
I raced against them in a racing school a while back when I was getting my license, and they were pretty quick in those cars, and it's showing here.
Yeah, I would have thought it'd be quite interesting racing with your brother.
Yeah.
Especially a twin brother.
Yeah, there's got to be some beef going on there somewhere that we don't know about.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure the competition is ridiculous. But there's probably a lot of respect, too. You know, twins are very close, generally speaking. Jacob Lauter in the 72 coming through for the IGY6 Motorsports, say 22 Honda. These are all Honda-powered cars. Honda, a big part of the championship, and of course, this is the home of Honda in the USA. Certainly this track the nearest to their headquarters. Big IndyCar race here. Scott Dixon's been pretty much man of the moment here over the years when it comes to IndyCar racing. And it seems that every driver that comes here really enjoys racing. Do you like this track?
I love it so far. I have a love-hate relationship, but mostly I love it. It's a lot of technical corners, which is where I tend to do a lot better. I struggle in the high speed, so turn 1, turn 4, that kind of a thing, I tend to be slower than everyone else.
Yeah, somebody made a comment the other day, which is, I've never heard anybody say that they've mastered Mid-Ohio. It's just one of those tracks that even when you think you've got it right, it'll catch you out somehow, or things will change.
Exactly, and there's always that extra 10th you can get out of the lap, and then
right.
There's another one.
Oh, look at this, wheel to wheel. Tell you what, they almost touched there, but that's great trust there by Juanio on the inside, and he's finally got through. But these two have been going at it for the last few laps. Bowlesby coming back at him. Now Jinx to the race line, and heads through the Mission Foods keyhole and accepts the fact that the overtake has been done, and Juanio now will try and go in pursuit of Zelenka in third position. How's your season been? What are your points? What have you scored?
So far, season's been good. In the races around America, all 3 of them I finished 5th. So far, NOLA also, that was a very interesting one. She had some issues with the car, and we figured those out pretty quick. Season's been a lot of fun, especially with Barrett. I raced against him last year. He's been a lot of fun to race against, and he's definitely grown as a driver. He's gotten a lot faster, and it's a lot of fun to battle against him.
Well, talking about a lot of fun, how about this? Masella, having had a really strong lead, is losing that lead. The gap now down to 0.6, and second and third have caught right up. Meda Caceres and Zelenka right there with him, and as you know, Juanio now having passed Bowlesby's coming fast too. So I don't know if Teddy's tyres are going off, or he's just struggling a little bit because they've caught right up to him, and here comes Caceres for the overtake at turn 1. And keep your foot in, side by side almost. For now, Masella holds the lead. Caceres, though, looks to the inside, then to the outside. He looks at his mirrors, no one there because she's side by side with him. And Zelenka just waiting to pick up the pieces. Goes for the switchback, but it's covered. Out of the keyhole they come, down the back straight. Now they'll sort themselves out, and the obvious place for an overtake Lincoln is coming up, isn't it? Round the outside, she's looking for it. Now, if she can get this done before the braking, which is not going to happen, she was going to be in a good position, but this is close. Really good stuff. And now we've got a real battle because now Juanio is caught up. And, of course, he started from pole. So, cracking race here. Teddy Masella, winner yesterday, but now under massive pressure. And here comes Juanio on Zelenka. Oh, up the inside, he had to take 2 over the rumble strips, but he's made it stick, and up to 30 goes. So 2 places made in the last lap, and now he'll go in pursuit of the leaders.
That was a beautiful overtake.
Wasn't it?
There.
Just kept his foot in and didn't do anything, you know, didn't get too excited or panicked by the fact that he was on a line that he's not used to being on. So another lap completed, 11 minutes to go. Conditions getting better and better, but Masella is under pressure. Just looking at the times here, fastest lap so far, 1:36.9 for the leader, Masella, but in fact, those behind him are actually quicker, 1:36.6 and a 1:36.1, so Juanio is the quickest man out there at the moment. And this is good patient racing. It's hard when you're starting out to learn patience. We're all excited. It's an exciting sport. The adrenaline's flowing. And the one thing you've got to really kind of measure is just how calm you need to stay, even though everything is going at 100 miles an hour around you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I remember my first race. I was so excited. I was like, oh, I'm the best guy here.
Yeah.
And I got humbled as soon as I stepped in the car.
Yeah.
It was like nothing else.
I know. I've done a little bit of karting in my time, and I've done some race schools, and I do not think that I have what it takes to be good at this sport, just simply because of that exact fact. The adrenaline gets going, and your mind just loses it, doesn't it? I mean, you catch yourself going, calm down, think. What were we learning, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, so far, Teddy Masella holding on. Comes out of the carousel to complete another lap. And he still maintains the lead. Looks a little bit calmer than the lap before. Caceres not challenging this time. But now, Juanio, having passed Zelenka, is very much there and part of this battle.
Yeah, this will be a good opportunity for Zelenka. Everybody fighting will slow him down a little bit, and hopefully he'll be able to pick up the scraps.
Whoa, and talking of which, that's exactly what's happened. And Juanio goes to the curb yet again. That's the second time he's done it, and it's the second time he's made it work. Meda Caceres drops to third, but she'll have another chance down this back straight. And obviously all the engines are Honda Civics, and they are all identical, hence the reason nobody's got any power advantage, which is why you see them side by side so often with nobody getting an advantage. So it's all about momentum and timing. And as you were quite rightly pointed out, Lincoln Day alongside me, Zelenka's caught right up. Now we got a four-way battle with 9 minutes to go, just as we wanted it. Here they come. Now this is looking a little further down. This is the number 5 of Dimitri Nolan, and he's in a battle with the number 1 of Cash Felber. Love the colors, the two blues on that number 1. And of course his teammate behind him and his twin brother. Both of them racing for FLBR Motorsports Fly Alliance. Back to the leaders. And now surely something's got to give as Iwanio, having got second place, is pushing. You can see how he's fighting the wheel there for a second. Here comes Zelenka. Now, if she wasn't aware of how close he was, she will be now. Caceres trying to defend into the keyhole. Zelenka takes it high and wide. He'll now slot into the regular line. And it's getting tasty at the front. Marcellus led all the way, but now the draft is with Iwanio. And Kekai Iwanio comes alongside the leader. And now it's a drag race down to turn 4. It's a right-hander. So the 25, the all-red, should have the advantage. He slides his way through, but now it's the inside advantage to the 29. Side by side again through 5. Next, it's the right-hander. Who's going to make it stick? By my estimations, Teddy could come out of this still with the lead, but no! Iwanio's got him. And here comes Caceres. Oh, Zelenka. Coming alongside Caceres, almost touching. Stays in 4th. But now the race is with Iwanio, and that was good racing. Lincoln, sum that up. That was a nice little period, wasn't it?
Oh, that was amazing to watch. These drivers are really talented, and they all know the size of their cars and exactly how close they can be to someone else.
You know, when this was announced that there would be a junior series, I understood it for a lot of reasons, but I'm really liking it now because this car just seemingly is one that once you get your head around it, you can have a lot of fun racing it and at close quarters, as we're seeing here. There's some good racecraft out here. I know my good buddy Scott Goodyear will be happy to see, given the morning we've had, such great racing and close racing and fair racing without any, so far anyway, any untoward action. They've all helped each other race well and given each other space, which is one of the big things he says in his driver briefings is, you know, you've got to give the other racer a chance. You can't just make the road your own.
Exactly.
You've got to race fairly, which is hard to do because you're trying to be aggressive. But at the same time, if you are too aggressive, then it's unfair to the other opponents, and you're both going to go off.
Yeah, that's right. And especially in open wheel single seaters like these, you have to show every driver respect.
Yeah.
No matter their pace, you always have to make sure that you're driving safe, because if something could happen, it's not going to be a great day for one of the drivers.
No, and it's an expensive sport, as we all know. Repairs are important and cost money. So if you get taken out for something you didn't do, it's a tough day at the office. Cash Felber makes his move on Dimitri Nolan. Again, side by side, down towards 4, but he's got the better line, has the number 1. And he should, well, I say that, the 5 keeps his foot in, and that's good work by Dimitri, because he'll hold that position now, and he does. So 5 minutes to go in this one. And now he's got the lead. Iwanio, his last lap, a 1:34.8, so he's up the game in that last lap, and you can see the gap yourself. And so he was just waiting for a bit of space, wasn't he? Because he's just put in the fastest lap.
Yeah, now that he has clean air, he's able to do exactly what he wants to do and able to make the car do exactly what he tells it to do. Yeah,
it's funny. You'd think when you were in a scrap, a bit like a peloton in cycling, you'd be able to all move forward together, but it's not often the case. Once you get into a battle, you slow each other down by changing lines and being defensive. And if you've got clean air, as you quite rightly described, you've got a chance of actually, getting in the groove, and it's more like a qualifying situation at that point.
Yeah, us drivers, we really like having clean air. So when we're battling out there, we try to make the pass as soon as possible,
right,
so we can pull away from them.
Well, that's exactly what's going on here. A nice little battle between Hayden Bowlesby and Brad Marchman of Australia. Another crosslink Kiwi entry up against the IGY6. And these two going at it for 5th place. 4 minutes to go. And by the time they come round, we'll be looking towards getting the white flag out. Back to the leaders. It's been a good run for Maida Caceres. She's been on the podium a couple of times already, not had the win, but not far away at all. 4th in the championship coming into this one. Likewise, Bacon Zelenka's had several podiums himself and has been very consistent throughout the season. So there's another little battle going to go all the way to the end here by the looks of it for 5th place. Good to see the crowd coming in now, filtering in now the weather has improved. And here we go for a pass. Bowlesby can't quite get that done. Excuse me, I say that, that's Brad Marchman. It's Bowlesby defending. But now he's got an opportunity. How much do you feel the draft? Because there is a draft created on these wings and slicks when you're right behind somebody, isn't there?
Yeah, it's massive. When we're driving in clean air, our head's getting pushed around by the wind, but the second we're up behind somebody, we can look around, relax our necks, we can just take a deep breath and say, okay, we know we're faster, we can get him in the next corner.
Yep. So you'll often see the car behind just tuck himself in and try to take almost an identical line. It doesn't serve you in the corners here, but in a main straight, you can really get sucked into the back of the car and use that extra horsepower to just slingshot past. You've seen it a million times down the long straights. Not too many long straights, just the one here at Mid-Ohio, so that's why it's so important to get out of the keyhole. Back to the leaders. 2 minutes to go. We should see the white flag this time. Here they come out of the carousel. Nope, 2 more laps then. Keep it going. But now Caceres under pressure, and she's lost out to Masella, making a last-minute charge. Zelenka sort of playing a waiting game somewhat. Just knows that he only needs to get past these two, and he's right there on the podium.
That's why Zelenka is such a good driver. He's able to find the perfect opportunity to pass, and he's not afraid to wait for a long time to get that opportunity.
Patience is a rare attribute in motor racing. Very few have it.
And it's the great that do.
Yes, it does. You're exactly right. Here comes Masella again. He's side by side with Maida Caceres and just got the outside line. If he can keep his foot in, he should get the overtake done, and he has. And that's good driving. Zelenka looking maybe to get up the inside, but again, being patient, knows that the white flag is coming, and that's what is important to him. He just needs to be in the right place at the right time. But what he doesn't want to do is watch Teddy Musella pull away from this group and go chase down the leader. And since he's been leading, Keke Juanio has built up a 1.5 second lead now over this group. Teddy looking very comfortable as he wrestles the wheel.
Very active on the wheel. That's crazy. For these conditions, that makes sense, though.
Yeah. Cross the line again. The white flag is out. And therefore, there's 1 lap to go. Now, Bacon, what can you do? Like you said, we've been singing your praises, telling everybody you've been patient. Now's the time to pull the trigger. Try and get that podium. Meanwhile, this battle for 5th continues. Hasn't gone away. And it's still Hayden Bowlesby who's got the advantage now. This is to and fro between these two. Brad Marchman trying desperately to get past and now running out of chances. This is the last time down the back straight for these two, and he's got to make it count. That was good driving. Got good drive out of the keyhole. He'll try and come alongside and try and hold that inside line. He might change his mind. But here comes your leader. He's already through the 4, 5, 6 complex and headed towards Thunder Hill for the last time.
In my opinion, the 456 is the hardest part of this track with all the elevation.
Yeah, it is. It's tricky, and there's so many different lines that you can get an advantage of. When you know, I always say, if you stick your nose up there, you never know what the other person's going to do. You just present yourself and say, right, are you going to turn in on me, or are you going to let me go? Well, it's been a good run, KK Juanio, and we'll find out after the race what went wrong mid-race, because he dropped right back, and don't know whether it was self-inflicted or just had an intermittent problem. But either way, he takes the checkered flag, and KK Juanio takes another victory here in the JS F4 Series, and Crosslink Kiwi getting a round of applause and some high fives as KK does the business. Nicely done. And that's the Anywhere Transport new T-Racing Honda of KK. Teddy Masella for Scudare Buell. And Abitab Supermatch for Maida Caceres in third. Good result. She was in second and third, never led the race, but was very close. We'll be very happy, I'm sure, with another podium. So my thanks to Lincoln Day. What time are you out, and what number are you? What's your social and all that kind of stuff? Don't worry about the timing. I'll tell everybody. Yeah. But where can we find you?
LRAD_racing on Instagram. That's my main social media that I use to post things about racing and just my daily life. And car number 54 with MLT Motorsports. They're a great team. I've known them for a very short time, but they really treat me as if I'm a part of each of their families. It's
nice.
A beautiful relationship that we have, and they're a great first team for me, and I hope that possibly I can continue with them in the coming years.
Good for you. Well, we'll let you go and get prepared because your race is coming up soon. But thank you for joining us, and thank you for helping us and giving some insight into some of your mates out there. Enjoyed that. That was a good little race, and had everything there. So my thanks to Lincoln Day. He'll be in action later today. And we've got plenty of single-seaters coming your way. We had to cancel the first race for the juniors because of the weather. So a race that had everything toed and froed for sure. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of our race. Away we went, and conditions improving by the minute. And it was Teddy Masella who had the early lead. KK Juanio behind him. Then Maida Caceres got second place, and then some really good wheel-to-wheel stuff. Juanio coming back through the field and doing a really good job, actually, of choosing his time and choosing his moment to get past. Sometimes a little risky. There he goes past Zelenka. Maida Caceres in a great battle with the 29 of KK Juanio. Once he got past, he then went in pursuit. That was a big moment for Teddy, and that was, I think, why he dropped off. Well done, though, to KK. Confirmation of the result. It is the Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport team. Juanio with the victory, and Teddy Masella with second place, and that's another good podium, having had a win yesterday for Scudare Buell, and Maida Caceres for International Motorsports takes third, Bacon Zelenka fourth, Bowlesby fifth, Marshman. That battle came to a win for Bowlesby. Effectively, he holds on to fifth. Behind them, Jake Pollock seventh, Drew Such in eighth position, Jacob Lauter in ninth, and Dimitri Nolan for another Crosslink entry. And a little further, the brothers Felber from Akron, Ohio, so a home race for them, and Jensen 11th and 12th, and the Polish driver Rafael Wolitz is in 13th place. So that concludes our first race for these boys and girls today in the Ligier JS F4 Series. They'll have one more race later today. And my thanks once again to Lincoln Day, who will be in action in F4 very soon. We'll take a short break. We'll be back after this.
Hungry for SVRA action? Well, the best way to enjoy classic auto racing is with a delicious classic from Mission Foods. Green flag your race-watching snacks with Mission's mouth-watering race day recipes. Try some of our tasty tacos, piled high nachos, fresh chips with guac, and more. So gear up your ride and fuel up those stomachs with delicious Mission foods. Now that's too fast, too tasty.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Haggerty, we can... Haggerty, let's drive together.